What is up, you guys? It has been a minute. It has been a really long time since I have uploaded anything. I have filmed a few videos, but I don't know. I felt like they weren't what I wanted to come back with. So here we are. I've taken a break off YouTube for a while. The last time that you guys saw me, I was living in Jamaica. That's where my life was at that point. And I feel like I wanted to do a little bit of a my story update, because I think when you're watching YouTubers and you're getting to know people and we're forming these communities, I think it's so important for you to understand why I'm here. And so this is kind of like my story. And I know usually with people start from like way back when, but I think for the purposes of how I kind of want this narrative to go, I'm gonna start from where I'm at right now. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Brittany. I am 24 years old. I live in Toronto, and I have lived in Canada for the past 9 years. I was born in Jamaica, and I moved here when I was 15 turning 16, and I kind of grew into being an adult here. I grew into who I am while being here. I am currently living on my own for the first time ever, so sorry, that's super exciting. And I'm currently working as a counselor, so I'm working within my field, which is absolutely amazing. And I feel like as I'm looking to turn 25, there is just something big about the age 25. There is this weight, I think, that comes with turning 25. It's like, you know, you're in your teens and then you enter into your young adulthood, and I just feel like at the age of 25, you're kind of exiting that phase of young adulthood and entering into adulthood, like official adulthood. And I had so much anxiety about turning 25. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to turn 25. And, you know, in my teens, I thought, you know, by the age of 25, I'm going to be married. I'm going to be looking to have a kid. I'm going to have a, you know, my own place, as in like ownership, not renting. And I had all these expectations that I put on myself. And now that I'm 24, looking to turn 25, all of those things, it's not that they seem unrealistic, but I'm just not in the place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to be married. I need to be looking to have kids. Or especially in this economy in Toronto, I'm not like, oh my gosh, like me not owning a house is like super terrible. Okay, so as I said, like I moved back to Toronto from Jamaica in March of this year, and then I started working in April, January, February, March, April, yeah. And then I got my own place in July, and it's now October. And let me tell you that this year has been one of transformation, one of change, one of learning, one of getting to know myself. And coming from, you know, a very loving home, a very busy home, being by myself in this country, living by myself, has certainly taught me a lot about who I am, about who I want to be, and all the things that I need to work on in order to achieve those goals. Now I'm in a better place than I was when I just moved to Canada. Well, when I moved back. And you know, that's been through like the support of my friends, and you know, just through, you know, God doing his thing. And now working and settling in, and I feel like I got my space together. I'm just in such a good place that I wanted to talk about like the kind of journey that it took to get here. And that, you know, hopefully I can speak to somebody who might be going through something similar and just be like, listen, like even if everything isn't coming together, because trust me, a couple months ago, if you had checked in with me and you'd been like, Britt, what's going on with life? I'd have told you like, listen, everything is falling apart, nothing's coming together, and I'm about to give up and just throw in the towel. And it's in those moments that you just gotta keep persevering. You just gotta keep pushing through, because trust me, the good thing is on the other side of the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had given up a couple months ago, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in my own space. I wouldn't be happy with kind of like my life. And I feel like too, like, especially in the Black community, in the Black Christian community especially, we don't talk about mental health as much as we should. Growing up, I struggled with mental health. And then growing up in Jamaica, I feel like it wasn't there wasn't a conversation. So I was struggling. I was just always sad, always crying, you know, overreacting to situations, and then being made to feel bad about them by, you know, people at church or people at school, you know. And I just thought there was just something fundamentally wrong with me. And even when I moved to Canada, you know, I was just like isolated because I didn't have friends, and I was adjusting to a new society, a new way of life, you know, these new expectations and social norms. And again, like, it was just very difficult. And it, like, again, this idea of mental health wasn't something very prevalent for me. And it wasn't until like last year that I really took the time to be like, this isn't okay. You know, like, I can't continue to live like this. I can't continue to constantly be sad. Like, I was sad more than I was happy. You know, I was crying more than I was smiling. I was anxious so much that it was starting to like affect my day-to-day life. It was affecting my relationships. And, you know, I had 2 friends that really sat me down. I was just like, yo, Britt, like, this isn't okay. Like, you need to get help. You need to get professional help. And it was at that point, you know, that like it really started to dawn on me that like, we're not okay. And, you know, looking back at my childhood and, you know, the things that I've been through and how it has affected me, you know, my inability to really, you know, form, you know, mutual relationships with people where I'm not always just constantly giving and not getting anything in return, where I lacked this confidence. And it was funny because I feel like a lot of people meet me and they don't think I lack confidence because I'm a really good talker. I can put on a show. But when you get to know me, you can be like, Britt, like, wow, like you do lack confidence and you lack that self-love. And I realized those are all things that, you know, growing up, like, you know, not being validated in certain areas of life, not having constant positive male figures or father figures in my life, going through really rough friendships, entering into a little bit more mature relationships at a younger age than I should have, and just seeing the damaging effects that those had on me, and not knowing how to talk about them, not knowing how to deal with them, not knowing who to turn to, not knowing how to just recognize the fact that I needed help and needed support, and knowing how to vocalize that really damaged me. And it's like, okay, at 23, 24 is when I started realizing, like, sis, we need help. And I started reaching out and getting those supports and that help. And like, it's crazy because I look at it now and the things that I thought were normal or were just a part of my personality, oh, that's just the Pisces in me, I'm realizing, no, that was mental health. And now that I'm in a good place and I'm healthy and I'm happier, you know, and I think back and I'm like, wow, like, these conversations that I didn't have growing up because it just wasn't the norm to have those conversations about mental health, especially growing up in the Caribbean. If I had had them a lot younger, I would have had a more solid foundation growing up. But I also think, and I'm not glamorizing, you know, struggles with mental health, but it has taught me a lot. And those experiences, you know, allow me to connect a lot more with my clients that I work with as a counselor. And it helps me to kind of tell people, like, listen, like, I understand what it is to be depressed. I understand what it is to struggle with anxiety. I can relate because I went through that. And I can tell you the benefits of seeking professional help. I can tell you the benefits of going to your doctor and being like, yo, like, I need something to just help me get through, you know? And I can say that although there is still so much stigma that comes with it, you have to learn to just do things for your own. That's another thing that I learned. Oh my gosh. And I gotta give it up to my friend. I ain't gonna call her name, but if she ever watches this, she'll know. And she taught me so much, you know? Ooh, let's not get emotional. But if there's one thing I can say that our friendship taught me, was she taught me to prioritize myself, to prioritize my mental health and my happiness and my peace. And that's not something I grew up learning. I didn't know, especially in the Christian culture, as a woman, you're taught, you know, be that Martha and you should always be serving, and you should give because that's what, you know, we're called to do, and that's the good thing to do. But I gave so much that I didn't know how to give to myself. I didn't know how to do what made me happy. I didn't know how to make decisions based on what I wanted for myself. Everything was like, oh my gosh, if I do this, what about Tim and Sue and all these other people? And my you know, my feelings, what I needed, my comfort was always on that back burner, which wasn't good. It was literally killing me. It was tearing me apart. When I decided to put my happiness first, put my well-being and my mental health first, let me tell you, a whole new world opened up for me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can do good for others while still doing good for me. And it's that balance that I didn't learn growing up, that like when I put that in effect, I was just like, wow, this is an amazing way to live. Because I'm now at peace with myself. I am now doing things that make me happy. And I think like it's finding that balance too with our relationships of like, I can't always be the one giving. I can't always be the one pouring and then not getting anything. And we don't build relationships or form friendships because, you know, we're looking for somebody to do something for us. But if your friends are not pouring into you, if you cannot turn to them and call on them and be like, yo, I just need somebody to be with me. I just need somebody to help me do this. You need new friends. My circle is a lot smaller than it was previously. It is minute. You probably need a microscope to see it. But when I tell you that the people in my circle, I can call at any point and be like, yo, what do you think about this? Or can you help me with this? And they got my back, and I feel like I never had that before. I was always that person, and in some ways I still am, that you call me and I drop everything and I run to you. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you reciprocate that energy to me. And as I said, like, you're not doing things because you want people to do them for you, but in relationships it should be mutual. It's a bridge. You know what I'm saying? And there's come and go. And it should be that if I'm doing this for you, I should know that you would turn around and do something for me as well. And so a lot of my friendships have just kind of flown away. You know, they've died down because I've started realizing if I don't text you, I don't hear from you. If I don't call you, I don't hear from you. Or I don't hear from you until you want something from me. You know, and I started setting boundaries. That's the word. Boundaries. Boundaries with others and boundaries with myself. This is what I'm capable of. And if you need more than what I'm capable of, you're gonna have to find somebody else. Self-peace, self-love, just, listen, it has taken me 24 years to get to this place of understanding the importance of putting myself first, the importance of vocalizing the things that I need from other people and from myself even, you know, and realizing that I am deserving of good things. I am deserving of luxury, of the soft life. You know, I feel like for Black women, we're always, oh, the strong Black woman image. No, I want that soft life too. I want to be pampered and I want things to come easy to me. Everything doesn't have to be a struggle. And for some reason, I don't know why I thought that everything had to be a struggle. You know, this Christian mentality of, oh, you know, if your life is rough, that means that God loves you more. That's not true. He wants us to be prosperous and happy. And he says to give us our burdens well, he says that we should give our burdens to him because he knows it's heavy and he wants to lighten that load for us. Let me tell you, high school and university Brittany were struggling. Even post-university Brittany was struggling. And I felt like I was struggling alone. Another thing that I've learned is you gotta talk. You gotta open your mouth and express what you're feeling and what you're going through. This year I took a big step and talked to my family about things that I never talked to them about before. I just had to sit down and I really realized these people love me unconditionally, you know? And regardless of what I say, regardless of what I'm feeling and how I express it, they're still gonna meet me with love. And opening up that communication absolutely changed the dynamic of our relationship. And I always had a good relationship with them, but I feel like there was just something that was preventing me from giving 100 in the way that I talked or just expressing who I was or how I felt. And it's just like, when you find people, and it doesn't have to be a direct family because I know not everybody has that relationship, find your people that you can just 100% without any filters express yourself, say how you're feeling. Listen, it is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. If you can't find those people in your current circle, again, move on, find your people. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be back on YouTube. I'm so happy to be doing what I love and what I feel like I've been called to do. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a life update. you know, and tell you a little bit of my story and where I'm at and how I got there. And I'm so excited to see what this next chapter of life is going to bring us. So be sure to follow, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.